All right, Kevin, welcome to the 2025 American League Division Series on FS1, presented by Booking.com. Well, it sure looked like the Blue Jays were going to cruise to a sweep, but then the Yankees, with their season on the line, had their stars step up, and they've got life, and we've got a Game 4. Vlad and the Jays still one win away from their first trip to the championship series in nearly a decade. But the Yankees this close to getting this back to Toronto. Joe Davis, the Hall of Famer John Smoltz, Aaron Judge with one amazing swing changed everything for himself and for the Yankees. He finally has that moment that's eluded him in October, and the Yankees have life.
Well, he's 6'7", but he's been walking around the playoffs like 6'3" with all the weight in the shoulders. Well, that just got relieved. He's 7 foot again, and he is on top of the world because he was given a moment. He delivered in the moment. And when you think about the New York Yankees, they needed that 3-run homer to even have a chance for this fourth game. And here's what he did leading up to it. He single-handedly is changing the narrative, but that narrative needs to grow. And for it to grow, they got to keep playing baseball to force a Game 5. And I think for Aaron Judge, he realizes that moment didn't slip him by.
Well, as far as the Game 4 starter goes, that's the reason why it was so tantalizing. Think about if you're the Yankees, you just win one. Cam Schlittler, who is a folk hero around here after what he did keeping their season alive last week.
Yeah, you can go all the way back to that game and say this young man's been pitching for 10 years. He hasn't. His introduction to the postseason was unbelievable. It's unmatched. It's never been done. And I think for him, he's the confidence you need to pitch him and the Yankees to a Game 5. He has been unbelievable with his fastball, and we're going to know a lot in the first inning if he's back to that same mode.
So if I'm the Yankees, I'm feeling good. If I'm the Blue Jays, I'm saying, oh boy, we got to keep on playing, and we got a bullpen game, and the bullpen's given up 13 runs the last 2 games.
Yeah, what seemed like innocent were 2 dominated starters for Toronto. The bullpen was just filling the gap because the games were not close. But those insignificant moments and those at-bats that the Yankees got has proved to be a big thing. And they have gotten to the bullpen to a tune of 8.76 ERA, and you think this is a strength of their club. Well, that strength's going to have to come into play big time. The offense is doing their thing. It's the bullpen that needs to be just a little bit better.
Well, the way this race went all summer with these teams tying 94 wins apiece, it couldn't end in a sweep, right? We got to keep it going. We will at least to this Game 4. The Yankees try to make it Game 5 in Toronto on Friday night. The Yankees were on the wrong side of a defensive misplay that led to a 5-run comeback that ended their season a year ago. On the right side of a defensive misplay last night opened the door for a 5-run comeback to extend their season. And it extends our chance to see Aaron Judge and Vlad Guerrero Jr. do their thing head-to-head. Man, these guys have been awesome. What do they have in store for Game 4, the Division Series, coming up next? Well, the baseball season in New York has lived to see another day. It was unseasonably warm the last couple of days, but a postseason chill in the air tonight. Game 4, the Division Series. The New York Yankees, the Toronto Blue Jays, 68 degrees. It is a bit breezy. That played a role in yesterday's game. It'll be a bullpen game for these Blue Jays, and Louis Varland, who came on and was so good in Toronto, he gave up the home run to Judge that tied the game. That's the 3rd home run that he's given up to Judge in his career. And then he gave up the home run to Jazz Chisholm to put the Yankees ahead for the first time in this series. And it's going to be Varland to start this bullpen game right back in the saddle, Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Louis Varland allowed those 2 big home runs last night, but he will make a bit of history tonight, becoming the first pitcher to lose a decision in the postseason and then start the very next day. When Blue Jays manager John Schneider raised the possibility with Varland, his reaction was, give me the ball. Varland likely will go 1 or 2 innings. From there, Schneider will manage his bullpen according to the score and where the Yankees are in their lineup. In that bullpen, Trey Yesavage is more likely to pitch than Kevin Gausman, who would remain available to start a potential Game 5 on an extra day's rest. Yesavage could go 2 innings, ideally entering against the top of the Yankees' order if the Blue Jays are in position to win the game. Joe?
All right, Kenny, and so that is how the plan is laid. John Schneider will read and react as this game goes on. We take you to today's same-game parlay, available now on FanDuel. Seems like a pretty safe bet that Vlad Jr. is going to get a hit. He's got 8 of them over the first 3 games. Chisholm hit his first home run of the postseason last night, and Cam Schlittler only needed to get him half of the total that he had against Boston last week. Speaking of that, Fox Foresight is powered by Google Cloud. Those 12 Ks to no walks against Boston A different challenge today, though, against this Toronto lineup, which showed some strikeout problems in last night's game for the first time in this series. 7 Ks the first 2 games, 11 Ks last night, as we thank Google Cloud for powering these real-time insights. So here we go, John. The Yankees again turn to the 24-year-old trying to save their season.
Yeah, and what he's trying to do is continue the narrative that he is unbeatable, meaning don't give the Toronto Blue Jays any thought that you're not on your A game. They saw him in a different light. They had some things on him. He's made some changes mechanically, and this four-seam fastball is so good that at the top of the zone, if he gets that call, he's going to have a really tough time. The Toronto Blue Jays measuring up a lot of hits.
Yankees trying to win a 4th consecutive elimination game to get this series back to Toronto. Jays having to fend the Yankees off again. Still though 1 win away from the championship series. Springer leads off. Off we go. It's a fastball away, and you mentioned the need to get those high strikes. Tony Randazzo, who's the home plate umpire, typically does not call a very tall strike zone.
Yeah, the illusion of his four-seam fastball has such great late life. He has the most swing and miss against that fastball in baseball.
That is down the line and a fair ball, and extra bases for George Springer to begin game 4. Springer, who the Yankees have bottled up, has a double to start this ball game. And instant stress on Cam Schlittler.
And that's why I said the first inning would be really, really important. He's coming off a historic game. He threw, it looks like, a 2-seamer in, and there's a big difference between his 2-seamer and 4-seam fastball from a late life. He'll have more movement with the 2-seamer, but the late life of the 4-seamer plays up.
Springer's in scoring position. Nathan Lucas getting his first start since game 1 of this series, when he had 2 hits and knocked in 3. Swings at the first pitch on a lazy fly ball to Trent Grisham in center field. Springer tags and hangs on. Let's get a look at this Blue Jays lineup that has scored 29 runs over the first 3 games of this series. We've seen Springer and Lucas. Vlad Jr.'s coming up next. Then it's Barger and Kirk. Dalton Varsho's in center field. Santander, Clement, and Jimenez. You got first base open here. You putting him on?
I would. I think he's 4 for 5 off of Cam. And I know they trust Cam, and good for the manager to have belief in that. But it would have been you wouldn't be questioning it if you walked him.
Homered again yesterday. He's homered in all 3 games in this series. He came into this series 3 for 21 in his postseason career. He's 8 for 13, 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. No player has ever had that collection of stats over the first 3 games of a series. Now to 0-1 from Schlittler. He swings and misses. Strike 2.
Well, you can't just rear back and throw velocity against Vlad. You have to mix it up. And there's that cutting action fastball. And sometimes it acts like a slider, and sometimes it acts like a cutter.
Pokes it down the line. It's a fair ball, and on a 2-strike pitch, Guerrero serves it into the corner. 1-0 Blue Jays. 4 games, 4 times Vlad Jr. has made an impact. His 9th run batted in.
And this cutter absolutely did nothing. It becomes a lesser of a fastball. See how it just spins right there over the middle? And that's an easier pitch for a guy who handles the bat to use all the parts of the field that he can use. You have to change speeds on him, and you cannot stay in the same area. He's too good.
Barger. We've been talking all series about how Vlad Jr. is a hitter with power.
Yeah.
He's not a power hitter. He's not a slugger. He is a hitter first, and there's no better example of that than what we just saw right there with 2 strikes against a deadly pitcher, getting a base hit down the line. 1-1 on Barger. Cracks his bat. That's down the line as well, and in for another Blue Jays hit. 3 of them out of the first 4 hitters, and they've got him cornered. And the Jays getting off of the deck after taking that blow last night with a fast start offensively against Schlittler.
And this is why I was saying the first inning is so important. You have to impose your will. You got to say, oh no, man, this guy's on. Well, what the Blue Jays have done is come out and impose them, that they're not afraid. Now, there hasn't been a fastball at 100 miles an hour. He doesn't have to have that fastball at 100. but you're seeing a lot of those cutters now and that action on that pitch get results in base hits.
You're going to face right here, John, the best high fastball hitter in the majors, and Alejandro Kirk. So he goes to the knees with a sinker.
Yeah, that's the pitch you want, because you want a ground ball. If you want a ground ball, you go to the sinker. If you want a pop-up strikeout, you go to the four-seam fastball. That's the variance and difference of what those pitches do. He's hoping to get a pulled ground ball to short and an easy double play to get out of the inning.
Here's his 0-1 to Kirk. Got under it. Austin Wells in the on-deck circle has just enough room. As good as a strikeout right there for Schlittler. 2 gone in the first.
Really nice play going into that screen and wall. Now, first pitch here, 2 outs. You can't let your guard down as a pitcher. You got the big out you needed, but this guy's a very aggressive hitter on the first pitch. Has had an awesome series himself. If it wasn't for Guerrero, we'd be talking about him.
7 out of 12, and buried in the headlines because of what you said with what Vlad's done, with what the kid did. Trey is savage in pitching. But yeah, Dalton Varsho, 583 average. The run in the bank and the base hit from Guerrero. 2 on, 2 out. Schlittler to Varsho. Poke to left, down the line. Bellinger a mile to go. He gets there. Cody Bellinger out of the blue to make the catch. One day after the Blue Jays defense deserted them, the Yankees defense shows up early. Bellinger saves at least one. That was from Cody Bellinger. He covered 114 feet to take away a couple runs. He'll bat third in this inning after Grisham and Judge. Then it's Stanton, Chisholm, and Goldschmidt, who gets his first start since the first game of the playoffs, as Aaron Boone tried to get as much balance in this lineup as he could, facing the bullpen game of the Blue Jays. And as Kenny told us, it is Louis Varland, after giving up those home runs yesterday. Talked to John Schneider. He said, "Give me the ball." And so here he is, the 27-year-old from St. Paul, who they got at the deadline from Minnesota.
Yeah, he's going to be firing 97, 98, 99, but one mistake. It really wasn't a mistake to Judge. I mean, he'll throw that pitch 100 more times. I don't know how many he'll hit, but he hit the one yesterday. It was the mistake he made to Jazz Chisholm that hurt the most.
Trent Grisham leads it off for the Yankees and takes down the middle for a strike. Doubled, walks, scored a pair of runs yesterday, his best game of the postseason. And this Yankees offense that scored just 1 run the first 14 games of this series, that seemingly meaningless little rally they had in game 2, that started to stretch where they've scored 16 the last 12. Varland rocks and fires 1-1. Grisham gets under it, sends it sky high. Let's see if Barger or Kirk have room. It's Barger to put it away. It's been an adventure for him at third base. So here comes Aaron Judge, who had that home run against Varland yesterday. That wasn't the first time. In Varland's major league debut, the first guy to homer against him was Judge. He did it again a year after that. And then last night, the biggest home run of his career.
Yeah, I mean, that swing was... If you're the Yankees and you're the Yankee fan, you don't want that swing to be forgotten. And the way it doesn't is you keep playing.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? It's like, okay, he's done it. He's had his moment. For that moment to really stand the test of time, and for it really to be one that they always talk about in this franchise's rich and thick history book, they got to keep winning. Judge keeps on hitting. Out of his mind. Over 500 in this postseason.
That one sounded like it might have broke his bat, but he didn't care.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter right now. My goodness.
At some point, I always think he's such a threat. At some point, Aaron Judge needs to take a bag or two just to let people know he can do it.
Still have not seen a steal attempt in this series from either team, and it wouldn't be that crazy if he did. He stole 12 during the regular season. Bellinger has continued to be such a valuable player for this team. Showed it off with the defense in this first inning. Was hidden by the headlines of what Judge did yesterday, but Bellinger had 2 hits and a walk, reaching base 3 times. And an 0-1 here. Swings and misses at the high fastball. That's a huge play he made in the top of the first.
That's a huge play and a hard one. Look where he's got to put his glove. He's got to bring it back and catch it in an awkward spot. And I mean, that is, the wind kept that from going foul, and his speed kept that from dropping in.
Strike 3, blinks through a fastball. 100 for out number 2.
Well, the miles per hour that Mr. Varland has picked up since going to the bullpen is quite significant.
He's ready to face Stanton. He used that high velocity to strike out Stanton in game 1 with the bases loaded. Fly the other way. Santander to the corner. He will get there. An inning in the books in game 4. The Blue Jays are the 1-0 lead as Varland bounces back. Home team profile sponsored by Wayfair. Stars shining in this division series. Vlad Jr. and Judge, those are the numbers coming into the game. They both already added a single and together are 17 for 26. 4 home runs and 14 RBIs in this division series. Bottom of the order for the Blue Jays. Anthony Santander takes a strike from Cam Schlittler. Blue Jays up 1-0. It was Guerrero's base hit down the line that scored George Springer in the first. And so the Jays have already done something that the Red Sox couldn't do against Cam Schlittler in the wild card round, and that is push a run across. Gave him a really hard time when they saw him about a month ago. Schlittler failed to make it out of the second inning against Toronto. 4 runs on 5 hits, went just 1 2/3. They fouled off a bunch of pitches against him. He only had 2 Ks in that game. And you touched on it. He felt like he might have been tipping pitches right away, worked on fixing it, changing what he was giving away. And comes in here with a totally different, more freed up mindset, having addressed that.
Yeah, it's the biggest fear every pitcher has. You know, it's one thing to make bad pitches and hitters hit it, but when you feel like you're making good pitches and or they're on every pitch, that means you're tipping. And the way that you can do that is a couple ways that I explain after this pitch. It's with your glove and the positioning of your glove, whether it's squeezed too tight on a pitch, open too much on a pitch, or you go high on a pitch and lower on another. They pick up everything in this game. So if you have any tendencies that you're tipping towards one pitch, you can eliminate the other ones, therefore know what's coming.
Another 0-2 to Santander. He's on the hands, and it's fouled back.
And it literally is that simple. When they pick it up, and you know, typically on your own team you should be looking for it, and other pitchers look and study your own to see, hey, you just did this. I could give you examples that would blow people's mind. Like one pitcher had a mouth guard, and when he would bite down on it, it was a fastball, and when it came out of his mouth a little bit, it was a breaking ball. It was that simple, and he didn't last very long, because when you know as a big league hitter what's coming, the hardest part about hitting, besides a round bat and a round ball, is you don't know what's coming. You're guessing. You're trying to react. And so if you can for sure know what's coming, the game's a lot easier.
Santander is making him work. Another 0-2. He goes way up there to get it and foul it back. And you're seeing again what these Jays do, whether he's tipping or not. This is going to be a harder matchup. The best bat to ball team in baseball and the best high fastball hitting team in baseball.
Yeah, as they are known for, they touch the ball a lot at the plate. They put it in play.
Sometimes they touch it really hard too. 100 misses away. Next pitch will be the 9th of this at bat for Santander.
Oh, this is a great pitch. You keep throwing it there, you're going to put pressure on the hitter and the umpire.
Santander has signed the big contract this offseason. At his first year in Toronto, ruined by injury. Knocked in 2 yesterday. There was first runs batted in since May. The Jays are counting on him finding it here in the postseason, even though he's missed pretty much the whole year with the shoulder. The 1-2 lays off.
Yeah, if he could have thrown right there, I mean, it's, you know, a backdoor curveball. Oh man, off of that pitch, that would, he tried to throw the breaking ball there and it just bounced before it got to home plate, but that would have had him looking in a strikeout.
11 pitches in the first. This is the 10th of Santander, who's worked the count full. And again, Anthony Santander hadn't done a whole lot. He came back from the shoulder injury for the final week and went 1 for 10. But John Schneider was saying we see good things. We see the swing speed is up. We like the swing decisions. We're going to bet on a guy that we signed for a reason. Into right center field he goes. Judge is over to cut it off. Heck of an at-bat, though. Doubles the number of pitches that Schlitter's thrown in just that at-bat alone. T-Mobile, the best network in the game, is now the best network in America.
Well, after a long pitched at bat, you got a guy up here that you could get a 1-pitch out or a 1-pitch hit because he swings at a lot of first pitches.
And he gets a lot of hits.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, for every Vlad Jr. and Aaron Judge in the postseason, there's a guy like Ernie Clement, who nobody's heard of coming into the postseason. Ernie had a 4-hit game yesterday and is 7 for his last 8, making his name in his first trip here to October. And a 0-1 from Schlittler. Pops it up, shallow left, Volpe's out, Bellinger's on, and Volpe with a nifty play. Over the shoulder like it's nothing.
Great jump. And he knows when he sees Bellinger, he looks to see if he's too close. He didn't want to collide, right? And he sees that he's freed to make that play. Shortstops dream of making those play when they don't have to collide with anybody coming in on it. It's the hardest play to make when 2 are conversion on it.
2 outs. The 9-hitter Andres Gimenez. If the Yankees get this series back to Toronto for a Game 5, one of the subplots is going to be that they have outplayed Toronto defensively, which I don't know if anybody saw coming. Up the middle. Schlittler's got it, and he's got a 1-2-3 second. Aaron Judge's home run more momentous in the bigger context, but this is the one that gave him the lead for the first time in the series. Jazz Chisholm's first of the postseason. 31 during the regular year. In his career year, his first full one in New York. And it's the man that he hit it against, Louis Varland, missing away, 1 ball, no strikes. Chisholm, Goldschmidt, and Wells for the Yankees in this second. Varland's 1-0 pitch. In for a strike. Louis Varland getting a chance to get right back on the beam after giving up the 2 home runs yesterday. Pitched for his hometown team to begin his major league career, the Minnesota Twins, as a St. Paul guy. So his world kind of rocked getting traded. And John Schneider was saying it took him some time before he was comfortable, and check in with him every few days early on. Just how you doing? Remembering that he's a person before he's a player. And all these guys are people before they're players with human emotions. And it took him a bit before he was able to perform. Just get comfortable with his new team and get over getting traded away from the only team that he had ever known. Falling behind 3-1. Chisholm swings and misses. 3-2. Varland's thrown a lot harder since moving into the bullpen, and then he's thrown that curveball a lot more since coming to the Blue Jays.
It's amazing the velocity difference when you can do that out of the bullpen. You start out unlocking things that you don't have to refrain when you're called to go 5, 6, 7 innings.
Here's his payoff, and he strikes him out. Second one for Varland, and for more, we go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, I contacted John's fellow Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley today, seeking insight into the mental challenge Louis Varland faced after allowing those 2 dramatic home runs last night. Now, doing that in the division series is obviously not the same as what Eckersley experienced, giving up a walk-off homer in Game 1 of the 1988 World Series. But Eckersley said that taking the ball at the start of the game would be a lot easier for Varland than pitching with the outcome hanging in the balance in the ninth. He added, he's lucky he gets another shot.
The Hall of Famer pitched in 28 postseason games. And Eckersley, this is Paul Goldschmidt getting his first start for the Yankees since the first game of the playoffs. Aaron Boone said he just wanted as much balance as he could get, and it is lefty-righty the whole way through the lineup, and so starting the righty Goldschmidt instead of the lefty Rice got him that balance. The most left-handed heavy lineup in baseball otherwise. And there's a lefty down in that Blue Jays pen, and Mason Fluharty ready to take over. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Goldschmidt.
Goldschmidt on the year, really good and hot for a long time, especially off of left-handed pitching. Struggled here at home. That's what's shocking to me.
Former MVP with the St. Louis Cardinals. That was just 3 years ago. Now he's 38. He's in his 15th year. His 1-year contract with the Yankees. 4 out of 8 in his limited time this October. On a 2-2, he gets home. Sinker gets away from Varland. Yeah, that'll be the last pitch that Varland throws. John Schneider, the first of what will be many walks. You're talking about Fitbits yesterday.
Yeah.
He'd be wearing one, racking up those steps today. He makes the call to the pen. Fluharty's coming in for Wells. You got a full moon hovering over Yankee Stadium. Yankees hoping to hop on one of those to get this back to Toronto. We welcome you back to the 2025 American League Division Series on FS1, presented by Booking.com. It's Toronto 1. New York nothing. Second inning. Paul Goldschmidt's at first base. Austin Wells is coming up, and Mason Fluharty's on to face him. Fluharty's one of those guys that they got into the game with that rally late on Sunday in Game 2. Got an extra look at. Gathered a little more information from. One ball, 1 strike. 24-year-old out of Delaware. One of the surprises in this pen. It's helped them take off over the last month. Jays had a bullpen game the final week of the regular season, and they were perfect into the 7th. Finished off a 6-1 win over the Red Sox. 7 pitchers combined on that. And that's what started the 4-game winning streak that helped hold off the Yankees to win the division. So John Schneider said, yeah, it's not ideal. You'd love to have a 4th starter be able to take this game. But that I've been doing this job enough now, and we've done this enough where this isn't that crazy a challenge to manage it. Pretty used to it.
Yeah, and because the rosters are the way they are, in a 5-game series, they chose to go with 3 pitchers and virtually 10 relievers. So they have the capability of utilizing a lot of different options in a shorter series.
So Dominguez has gotten up. He's one of their top guys. Figure that'd be for the top of the order here. Rodriguez as well. Austin Wells, 2 hits yesterday, knocked in a run. On a 2-2 from Fluharty, the Yankee catcher swings and misses for strike 3. Perfectly placed sweeper.
That's a pitch, off-speed pitch against Wells this year. He's really struggled. This should be Volpe's moment right here. He's had some tough at bats, some tough matchups. Ball coming into him should be a welcome relief. He's just got to be able to see the ball up, though, and not swing over the back foot breaking ball that was tried to throw right there.
Another 3 strikeout game for Volpe yesterday. That's 11 strikeouts his last 16 times up. The 1-0 at the knees.
And that's what you got to do. You leave those alone and you wait for one. If he throws 3 of them like that, you tip your hat, but you're just looking for the breaking ball that comes into you over the middle of the plate, and that's where he can get his power.
Down 1-2. Now, when it's going like this, probably it feels like it's 2 strikes out the moment you step in there.
Always.
Volpe, who has had his moments over his first few years where it looks like, okay, here comes the offense to join that Gold Glove caliber defense, but more low points than high this year. One and two. Here it comes. Volpe takes the ball. He's been a good postseason player for the most part. A big home run in the World Series last year, and the Yankees' lone win against the Dodgers. And on this 2-2 pitch, he chops it foul to stay alive. Yankees trying to come from behind once again. Second largest comeback win in their postseason history yesterday from down 6-1. Blue Jays, meanwhile, their largest blown lead loss this year. Strike 3 called as home plate umpire Tony Randazzo gives Fluharty that up and away fastball. To the third we go. Top of the order for the Blue Jays coming up. That means Vlad Guerrero Jr., who has been unstoppable in this division series.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Blue Jays leading 1-0. We're here with Blue Jays manager John Schneider. John, this is your third time facing Cam Schlittler. What did your hitters learn in the previous 2 starts that they've taken into tonight?
I think just being aware of his fastball. You know, he throws it a lot. He's got the cutter too, 4-seam. You got to be ready to hit it. You know, I think that these guys, you know, they take pride in making a lot of contact, and you got to be ready for that fastball. It's a pretty unique look with how, you know, kind of long and lanky he is as well.
We're approaching the top of the Yankees order. Might that be a spot for Trey Savage, or would you prefer to use him later in the game?
Yeah, I think if we do use him, it'll probably be a little bit later. You know, so far so good. Still obviously a long way to go when you're kind of navigating this game, but you know, I think right now we'll probably hold off.
You've managed these games during the regular season, bullpen games. How much more nerve-wracking is it doing it in the postseason?
Man, you try to just, you know, kind of conduct yourself like you do in the regular season. You know, it's you know, I always say, you know, starting pitcher length is always the toughest decision of the game. You know, so I think when you're prepared, you know, the guys are willing to be flexible and ready to go kind of at a moment's notice in the bullpen. You get pretty comfortable with it. So a lot of credit goes to the staff too, Pete, Sam, Graham. You know, a lot of work goes into it. So you got to kind of trust what you see as you're going too.
John, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
Thanks.
Now, Kenny, if he is feeling any pressure, he's doing a good job of hiding it. He seems so calm and steady. Nathan Lucas grounds one up the middle. Anthony Volpe, good hands, 2 out. Well, they're telling him, don't lose your glove with the way it's going at the plate, and he has flashed it a couple times early in this game 4.
That is a great play. I don't think people at home know how hard this ball was on an in-between hop that could ride up the heel. See, goes, almost loses it, and buries it with his chest, and is able to make the throw.
2 up and 2 down, and a pair of ground outs, and now it's Vlad Jr. knocked it around with a base hit on an 0-2 pitch his first time.
I know that his fastball is electric, and he's throwing a lot of hard stuff. He's going to have to break in that, mix in that breaking ball, and some built-in change of speeds against this kind of lineup is going to be imperative. If you stay hard stuffed, all these hitters, they're just too good at timing and put it in play.
Oh, the base hit in the first inning. He's 9 out of 14. He's knocked in 9 over the first 4 games. 1 ball, 1 strike on him. 26-year-old, 7 seasons in the major leagues. He's been an all-star 5 times, but it's been very up and down. In the postseason prior to this year, pretty much all down. No wins prior to this year. From the first inning, though, his very first at-bat of this division series is as if he said, get on my back. I know it's my responsibility as the face, as the big money guy, that $500 million contract. I know what comes with that, and I'm ready for it. On a 2-1 from Schlittler. Chops it to third. McMahon guns it across in a 1-2-3 third on 3 ground ball outs for Schlittler.
I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Nothing over now. I feel it still.
9-1-2 in the Yankees order. Mason Fluharty for Ryan McMahon, who bunts it foul. Fluharty's going to get the first 2 hitters of this inning, you'd figure, and then a change with Judge due up third. Struck out the 2 men that he faced coming in the second. Ryan McMahon has given the Yankees Gold Glove caliber defense down at third that they expected, and he's also contributed with the bat. He's had a hit in 4 of the 5 games in this postseason. Doubled and scored yesterday.
Solidifying that left side of the defense. We already talked about what Volpe's meant, especially when Max Fried is on a mound, and they're hoping to see Max Fried one more time. He'd be Game 5 starter because a lot of action on the left side.
Boy, how much is he yearning for another chance?
Oh, man. It's the worst feeling in the world knowing you're just begging for another opportunity because you know you're going to pitch much better than the previous game.
7 runs allowed in game 2 by Fried. 2-2 on McMahon. Well, barring how this goes tonight, if it got to a game 5, and when I say how this goes tonight, I mean in terms of usage for the Blue Jays, it would probably be Fried for the Yankees, Gausman for the Blue Jays. Not out of the question that Gausman would pitch tonight, though. John Schneider said it would have to be weird for Gausman to be involved.
Yeah, we talked about it on the way over. I think the only way that makes sense is the leverage of a lead, meaning the lead is worth having him go in and expend all options on him, trusting him to eat up 3, 4, 5 innings. You would never want to use him in a close game that could backfire, and then now you really have limited your leverage if you lose that game going into game 5.
Here's another 2-2 and taken high. McMahon has worked it 4. It can't be both. It's got to be one or the other between Gausman and Yasab.
And they knew going into this game, it's a problem when you're up 2-1 and you're worried about what you got to do to finish a series. If you had traditional starters.
Here's a fly ball to deep right field, and Ryan McMahon has tied game 4. Contributions from all corners of the roster. One night after it's Aaron Judge, of course, it's Ryan McMahon, the right-hitting 9-hitter, picked up at the deadline for his defense.
Yeah, too many breaking balls in one at bat, and one that just was fat. You don't have to hit it far to right field. You just got to hit it in the air. And that is a good feeling for him and, of course, the home crowd.
Back at square one, back to the top of the order. That ball almost hit Trent Grisham. 1 ball, no strikes. McMahon hit 4 home runs in his 2 months after the trade. Hit just .208, but that was okay because he was holding down the hot corner defensively. Everything they get at the plate from him, gravy on top. Generous inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I know he's got a really good breaking ball and tough on lefties, but he's leaving too many in the plate. He's going to have to throw a fastball here to get him off of that breaking ball, I think, because too many in a row. It goes, the advantage goes to the hitter. Look, when you face a reliever, you don't see him every game in a 3-game series. But when you're in a postseason with days off, you could see the same guy 3 straight times. So the hitter gets an advantage getting a look multiple times at the same guy.
The 1-2 to Grisham is spot backing out of play again. And this is another one of those guys that had to come into the game when it didn't look like they needed to use any of their top guys on Sunday. The Yankees had that 7-run rally, and it has proven to be not for nothing.
No, and not for nothing, that wouldn't have been a home run in every other ballpark either.
Yeah, good place to hit it.
But they're not playing in every other ballpark. They're playing at Yankee Stadium, and it's a homer.
And it is a 1-1 game here in Game 4. McMahon was down in the count 0-2, worked it full, and then tied it. 2-2. This is going to be it for Fluharty. Sir Anthony Dominguez, it appears, is ready for Judge. Trent Grisham fouls it off, stays alive.
Now that was a good pitch and a good piece of hitting. Fastball away. Now he can go back to the breaking ball away. But such a good piece of hitting to foul off that real good pitch on the outside corner.
And most of Trent Grisham's success this year has come against righties. Long at bat here against a lefty. The 8th pitch is high for ball 3.
See, once that ball got off the plane and the height of that fastball was easily recognized by the hitter, you've got the trick of pitching is you got to make it look like the same height, but then the break gets the swing and miss.
Strike 3 caught on the inside corner. Fluharty wins the marathon.
Unhittable pitch. I mean, that is a breaking ball up. It's not really what he was trying to do, but he freezes him right there. As soon as he freezes him, there's no way. And that pitch maybe a little higher than Grisham is going to be happy with.
Oh, a big call right there. Instead of the walk ahead of Judge, it is a strikeout to get Judge with the bases empty. McMahon starts this inning with a home run, the most unlikely power source. Here in a tie game in the 3rd, here comes Aaron Judge, and here is StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. Shows how hard a pitch it was to hit, and he hit it off of the foul pole for a home run. Had the wind been blowing a little bit differently, it would have been foul. Aaron Boone said that he was looking up at the flags above the right field grandstand because those are the ones you can trust most. And for most of the night, they were blowing across, which would have pushed that ball wide of the pole. But then he said he glanced up right after Judge hit the home run, and the flags were still. Goes with what Judge said. He said, you know what? I hit it, and I hoped. And then the ghosts took over and kept it fair. Same ghosts that have hovered over him and kind of haunted him in the Yankees over the last decade. Friendly ghosts last night. 1-1 from Dominguez in the dirt, ball 2. One of the top relief arms for the Jays here. Doesn't matter in a bullpen game how early it is. You're going to fire your top guys when the best hitters come up. And Dominguez, who had scoreless relief in both games in Toronto, gets Judge. Here's his 2-1. Doesn't get the call. Ball 3.
He's gotten so much better laying off that pitch. That's why he's having the years, the last couple of years he has, average and power. Make the pitcher get the ball into a place where he can handle it.
On a 3-1. He smokes one to second that catches Clement. You're wrong to say he caught it. Clement just stuck his glove up on a 112-mile-per-hour BB. 2 out.
Yeah, that was a missile. And Dominguez is glad that it was 7 feet off the ground.
Yeesh. 2 outs. Bellinger. Playing in the postseason for the first time in 3 years, Cody Bellinger making an impact. Defense in the first inning today. Bat has quietly been good in this series. I was talking to Cody about that the other day. He said watching the postseason from his couch the last 2 years after it was a sure thing his time in LA, he said, this is terrible. I got to get back. The Cubs trade him to the Yankees. And I said, how different are you than the last time you played in the postseason? He said, mentally, so different. Things had snowballed on him towards the end of his time in LA. Hammers this ball in the air to center field, but Varsho is there to finish off the inning. Dominguez comes on. The bullpen game so far for the Blue Jays has succumbed just a solo shot to Ryan McMahon.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium, here with Yankees manager Aaron Boone. Aaron, Cam Schlittler has retired 8 in a row since escaping that first and third one-out jam with a run in the first inning. What did he do to settle in?
I think he's been getting after it right away. He's been filling up the strike zone. Vladdy put a good two-strike swing on him to plate the first one, and then Barger just kind of dumped one out there. But I feel like he's in a good place, pitching with confidence, and hopefully continue.
Ryan McMahon, left on left, game-tying home run. Aaron, what has he brought to your team?
He's a tremendous defender, great person in our room. He's fit in right away. He gives you a good at-bat. That at-bat, that's a tough at-bat off Lou Hardy. He lays off the 2-2 pitch up and then stays in there with a breaking ball and rides it out of here. So really good at-bat there, obviously, to square it up.
Last thing, Aaron, obviously when you're managing a bullpen game from a pitching perspective, it's difficult. How about from your end of it, knowing when to use your bench players?
Yeah, I mean, you're just, trying to pick the right spot. You got a chance to score, you're going to do it, but also trust everyone in that lineup today that they can still do something.
Aaron, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
Addison Barger driving this ball to the gap in left center field. He's 2 for 2. Barger was eager to get back out there today after his error contributed to the Yankees' comeback. John Schneider said, hey, calm down. It's going to be okay. You're going to have another shot. And he's taking advantage of his.
Well, just to show you how difficult pitching is, every 5 days or every start's not the same. And there has been 20 swings and only 3 misses coming into this inning. That just tells you about A, the Toronto Blue Jays, and B, you don't always have your most electric fastball. And that game we were in awe of against Boston, he could do no wrong and got a ton of swing and misses.
12 Ks, none of them so far against the Blue Jays as Alejandro Kirk fouls off his first pitch. Kirk popped out his first time, and after the 2 home runs in game 1 is 1 for his last 10.
And again, you can get in a mode of hard, firm pitches all the time. We haven't seen the breaking ball that much, so at some point he's got to unleash that pitch just to get them off of. The one way you get a batter off your fastball is you can throw the cutter and slider, but the curveball really does help.
Only throws it about 10% of the time on the year. So we're talking 90% hard stuff. In a day and age we're seeing less and less of that. You're seeing really hard stuff, just less of it typically.
Yeah, and against most of the teams in the league, that's probably accurate. But you have your handful like this team, Milwaukee. You've got to get them off balance because they're not wildly swinging outside the zone typically.
Shot to right field, right at Judge. Yeah, he shows off that elbow's doing okay. I think this kind of flew under the radar on Saturday, but he had a throw that was his fastest throw since injuring the elbow, 90 miles per hour, which was above his season average, which even takes into account when the elbow was healthy. One on, one out in the tie game in the 4th inning, and Dalton Varsho stands in for the Blue Jays. Jays able to get a run against Schlittler in the 1st inning. That has been the time where you can get him. After the first, though, Schlittler's got a 2 ERA. Fly ball left field, Cody Bellinger. Back-to-back pitches to get back-to-back outs. Full day of Divisional Series caps off later tonight on TBS. Game 3 between the Phillies and the Dodgers. As that series goes to Dodger Stadium, LA looks for the sweep. And then on Friday, back with a Game 5, the Tigers wake up. Offense comes to life to force that 5th and decisive game back in Seattle. If necessary, Game 5 of this series will be on Fox. And a programming note, if this series concludes tonight, Tigers-Mariners moves into that primetime Fox slot. A leadoff double from Barger. He's still at second. Santander with 2 away. Saw 10 pitches his first time up there before lining out.
Well, because there hasn't been a lot of swing and misses and a lot of strikeouts, there hasn't been a lot of pitches other than Santander. So he's really utilized his fastball and gotten some quick outs not knowing how long he's going to be able to go. One thing for sure is the pitch count allows you to go deeper.
Yeah, it's amazing seeing the pitch count where it's at and then knowing what Santander did. Santander saw a quarter of the pitches that he's thrown in just his at bat. 0-2 with 2 gone in the 4th. Plays off.
In the playoffs, when you give up a leadoff double, this would be a great job if he doesn't allow him A, to move a base, and B, to score. He's done a great job on the year limiting how many guys on base do actually score.
He fires 1-2, and I think that got by everything. It's a wild pitch. Up to third goes Barger, and the count is 2-2.
Again, he went with the cutter. And he missed everything.
Go ahead run 90 feet away. Blue Jays 1 win from the championship series. Schlittler's 2-2 pitch. Santander slaps 100 to stay alive. .95% hard stuff. .24-year-old from Massachusetts, just 14 major league starts in the regular season, second one in the postseason. Different kind of challenge tonight against this pesky Blue Jays lineup. Another 2-2 to Santander. He got him this time. His first strikeout of the night, strands him in at third. A huge day of college football kicking off with Big Noon Saturday on Fox. Phenom Jeremiah Smith leads top-ranked Ohio State against Illinois. Then TCU, K-State, and Kansas and Texas Tech. As Giancarlo Stanton leads off the bottom of the 4th for the Yankees and takes ball 1 from Sir Anthony Dominguez. It's Stanton, Chisholm, and Goldschmidt after New York tied it on a Ryan McMahon home run last inning. Stanton's knocked in 4 the last 2 days. Still looking for his first home run of this postseason, though. On 1-1, Stanton takes inside, ball 2.
Well, they haven't had or left him with a breaking ball, mediocre breaking ball in the middle of the zone, and that is what Stanton does a lot of damage on.
'18 postseason home runs, as you saw, 3rd in Yankees history. 7 of those came last year. Big G, Giancarlo Stanton takes strike 2. Good fastball. This is Stanton's best year with the Yankees when he was on the field. He missed the first half with the elbow issues, but Aaron Boone said mentally he's just gone to a whole nother level. 16th major league season, 8th one with the Yanks. He's got a leadoff walk in the 4th. First walk issued by the Jays. And here's Chisholm.
I was going to give you an over-under before the game. I forgot to do it, but 12 pitchers.
Total.
Yeah.
Obviously. I'm going to say just under.
Okay.
And that has as much to do with Cam Schlittler,
Yeah.
as it does with the Blue Jays, because they're going to empty theirs. Brennan Little's ready to go. Trey Savage is down there just living his dream. Big old smile on his face.
Yeah, that smile's fun right now.
So that
when that phone sings, and it's like, hey, young man, get up. There's something unbelievable that happens to your heart.
Grounder to first, tough bounce, but Guerrero corrals it and starts a double play. 3-6-3. Vlad Guerrero Jr. has shown off every dimension of his game.
I'm telling you right now, that is such a difficult degree of a double play, and he made it look fairly easy. In between hop that he gets right there with his hand and glove at the same time, throws it over the runner. I mean, this right here, it's not that easy. They practice it a lot. Big double play. Wow.
Strike one on Paul Goldschmidt. I think we're all learning about the Blue Jays to another level together as they reach this stage for the first time with this group of players. And I don't know about you, but for me, the thing that has stood out most is how well-rounded of a player he is. You think about him as a hitter. But man, we saw him flying around the bases yesterday, diving into home. We've seen him field really well.
Well, in fairness, he was a third baseman, a big-bodied third baseman that certainly had to make a position change based on what he was able to do, and he has made a great position change.
Way up there to shallow left field. And after the leadoff walk just a few pitches later, Jimenez puts it away, and it's a scoreless 4th for Dominguez. Baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org or follow @playball on X, Faceball, and Instagram. Your team, your players, your postseason. You can follow all the postseason action on the #1 app for live baseball as Cam Schlittler goes back to the mound. 3 of the first 4 Blue Jays got hits against him, but he's retired 11 of the last 12. In a different fashion than he dominated the Red Sox with last week, with the Yankees season hanging in the balance. Heavy strikeouts in that game, just one of them today. Strike one on Ernie Clement. It has been really, I don't want to say unbelievable, but unpredictable rise for Cam Schlittler to get to where he is today. 7th round draft pick 3 years ago. Clement loops the ball into left field. He says, enough of your Cam Schlittler background stuff. I'm going to just go get another hit. His 8th out of his last 10 at-bats.
But see, that's that cutter again. You know, and the cutter right there is a hittable pitch when it doesn't turn and stays over. See, he's losing velocity in the cutter. And I know the pitch is there because a lot of pitch analytics show what that can do, getting it off the barrel. But when you have a fastball like his, you change speeds more than you just try to get this little cutter action.
Well, the Blue Jays, we've not seen a ton of this in this series, but they led the majors in sacrifice bunts. And Jimenez, the 9-hitter, is up there to try and do that here. Squares, pulls it back, swings away and fouls it off.
Just to finish that point, when you feel like somebody is getting out on your fastball, meaning they're reaching the outside part of the plate, that's where a cutter comes in play. You bury it in, so when they go out to hit the ball, it jams them. But when your cutter is not doing either of those things, you're just giving them a more hittable pitch in the middle of the plate. And those are why the Toronto Blue Jays are so good. You're not making a quality pitch. It doesn't matter what the miles per hour are. They're commanding the strike zone. So where Cam has been great, he's getting action and swing and misses outside the strike zone. And today, that hasn't been the case.
You got 100. Don't overthink it. Use that cutter when they make you. 0-2 on Jimenez. Here he comes, and he misses high. Leadoff man aboard for the Blue Jays. Third time that's been the case. 1-2 to Jimenez. Bouncing ball towards the middle and through. And both 9 hitters contributing in this game. Jimenez sends Clement to third. And they're at the corners with nobody out. And the top of the order coming up.
He messed up a little bit. He thought of the positioning of the fielders. Watch him go for this ball and then stop. He thinks he might get it, and then he pulls his glove back thinking that's a double play. But he was not recognizing where Jazz was playing, and that would have been, if he had, that's the one flaw I used to make a lot, and pitchers just don't take time to look where the fielders are, and that was a perfect case right there.
We got a full day of baseball. We need all the help we can get filling us in on what else is going on. Kevin Burkhardt, you got a game break. That is the first time, Kevin, the Cubs have scored more than 3 runs in the postseason. Just enough to clear that mark and keep their season going.
Well, just to put it in perspective, the cutter 4 for 9. Toronto is. His fastball 6 for 35. So.
And Aaron Boone has Fernando Cruz already going. Top of the order for the Blue Jays here in a tie game in the 5th, and George Springer, one of the top hitters in the postseason this generation. There's a curveball. Blue Jays top runners in scoring position team in the majors this year. Clement at third, Jimenez at first. Bottom of the order setting the table for the Jays. Here's an 0-1. Springer rips a ball to center field. Grisham is over to make the catch. Clement heads for the plate, and the Blue Jays have retaken the lead. Sacrifice fly from George Springer. And Ernie Clement with a bloop base hit to open the inning moves over as the 9-hitter Jimenez gets a hit of his own, and the Jays have manufactured one here. So a hush falls over Yankee Stadium, which has been rabid for most of the last 2 games. And Nathan Lucas climbs in. Guerrero on deck. He takes a cutter for a strike. The 7th round draft pick just 3 years ago started this year in Double-A. Goes up to Triple-A. He's there for all of 5 starts, but then the rotation for the Yankees just keeps on dealing with injuries. They lose Cole in the spring. They lose Clark Schmidt midseason. Cam Schlittler comes up to the major leagues in July, and 3 months later, he's a folk hero after what he did to keep their season going in the wild card round. Made quite an impression on his manager, Aaron Boone, down in spring training. Just the one game that he came over for. Aaron said, I like this guy. I like the stuff. I like the demeanor. Said, consider my eyes open just that one game. And so when they told him, hey, we're going to bring up Cam, he said, yes, I got a feeling that this could be big time for us. Crowd urges him on as he deals 0-2. Lucas stays alive.
Well, they have been putting a lot of good swings on Cam, and we saw one breaking ball of late that he threw to Springer. So either that's not in the game plan or he hasn't had feel for that pitch to give a little change of speeds to these Toronto Blue Jay hitters who are as good as I've watched all year as a team besides Milwaukee. Milwaukee doesn't have the power that Toronto does to combine with their bat skill.
And this lineup full of bat-to-ball guys, this guy right here, Nathan Lucas, is #1 of the bunch in contact rate. Jimenez at first, one away in the 5th. The 0-2 somehow gets his bat to that. Goldschmidt lets it drop, juggles for a moment, and still gets the lead man. He's thinking about trying to get a double play out of that. He winds up settling for the 1 out and 2 gone in the 5th.
I mean, it was the right idea if the hitter thought that he was going to catch it, but the hitter was not even playing around, and he ran to first. So you take a little speed maybe off the bases, but you still got to deal with this monster at the plate.
Guerrero's 1 for 2 today. He's 5 out of 7 against Schlittler this year. One-0. Big bounce, foul. Schlittler threw 107 pitches against Boston last week. It was so awesome seeing him go back out there at about 100 pitches for the 8th inning. And a one-of-a-kind final line in that game. 12 strikeouts, no walks, 8 scoreless innings. Forget about rookies, forget about Yankees. The only start period like that in postseason history. His 1-1 is in there for strike 2 on Guerrero.
The one thing no one has done is buried a pitch inside with 2 strikes to Guerrero. They tried. It was the right play. They didn't get it in there, so it didn't have the same effect. By getting a ball inside to a hitter who covers the plate so well, you're just getting him a little honest to the pitch away.
We saw that in the 1st inning. Tried to go away to finish him off, and Guerrero poked the base hit to right. 2-2. Pokes it foul.
The great hitters, you could almost slide a chair under them. They're sitting there comfortable in the batter's box. The great hitters have to be, and I'm not saying, I'm not advocating you don't hit somebody to be uncomfortable. You just change their eye level and you change their legs from being comfortable in the same spot.
Very high. Count goes full, and now Lucas gets a head start from first. Nobody is more comfortable than this guy in this division series.
I'll tell you what, I'd be so tempted to throw a 3-2 breaking ball here. He hasn't seen one.
There goes Lucas. Payoff is in there for strike 3. He painted 99. Blue Jays have retaken the lead on a sac fly from George Springer. We're halfway home in Game 4. Toronto 2, New York 1. Well, so far so good for the Blue Jays in this bullpen game. Sir Anthony Dominguez against the heart of the lineup goes 1 2/3, no runs on no hits. Eric Lauer comes on. He's been a key piece for this staff this year, although 3 of the 4 batters that he faced earlier in this series he gave up hits against. A little bit low with his first pitch to Austin Wells to the bottom of the Yankees order in a 2-1 game.
Well, John Snyder couldn't ask for a better performance so far, but he would love to have more room for error. He needs a few more runs to get this game in the out of the danger zone.
A pop-up into shallow left field. Jimenez is over, calling off Barger. He says, "Get out of the way, Addison." I got a short memory.
And the danger zone is if you get a tie game and you got to go extra innings, right? I mean, you don't think about like that right now, but if this game were to be prolonged, the longer the game goes, obviously, the more disadvantage the Blue Jays have just because the resources used.
They got 6 more guys down there. That does not include either Savage or Gausman. As Volpe comes up here with the bases empty and 1 away. Another strikeout his first time tonight. He drags the first pitch foul. Well, Eric Lauer, a 30-year-old who started his career in San Diego. 2 years there, goes to the Brewers for 4 years. Last year didn't even pitch in a big league game. He was in AAA with the Pirates and with the Astros, and then for the final month pitched in Korea. Fly down the right field line. Santander is over. And this is out of play. Goes to Korea, pitches really well. First he's thinking, I'm not doing that, but it became really his only hope to keep on pitching. So he goes and proves that he's still got it. Signs a minor league contract with the Blue Jays. And like a handful of guys on this roster started this season in AAA. Came up into the bullpen and early on and moved into the rotation mid-season. So he can give him some length. The lefty's 0-2. Strikes out Volpe. Now the only offense in this game for the Yankees has come from the guy coming up here, the 9-hitter Ryan McMahon. The home run came against the lefty and Mason Fluharty. It was only the 2nd home run this year for McMahon against lefties. Fouls off the first pitch. Strike 2.
Sneaky quick. Lauer's not going to. He'll overpower you just because of the change of speed and the illusion of how he throws a baseball, but velocity isn't going to be the major thing that you notice. Quietly puts you to sleep and then fires one in at 93 and it looks like 97.
He's called it his zoom ball, that low 90s fastball with the high spin. And it's performed like one of the best fastballs in the American League. Here's his 1-2 to McMahon. Grounded to straightaway second. Routine for Ernie Clement. A 9-pitch 5th inning where every pitch is going to count for Lauer. Wear what the players are wearing on field during the postseason. Check out the largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, hoodies, t-shirts, and more at MLBshop.com. Get your favorite postseason team gear. Blue Jays 2, Yankees 1 to the 6th inning as Addison Barger takes a high curve for a strike.
Well, I said the top part of the strike zone was going to be a huge part of, I thought, Cam's success. He hasn't really lived up there much, but there's been some calls up that have shocked a lot of hitters. So top of the zone is where you should be going.
Back-to-back curves.
I just like that pitch, and I know pitchers may not have a feel for it early, and maybe this was his plan to get through the lineup and to go deeper. He'll start mixing that pitch. I get 100 miles an hour right now is going to look like 110 if he throws it to Barger.
Here's his 0-2, and he turns it up with a fastball. That's going to look like a 107.
Yeah, he had no chance. I mean, every hitter has like a radar gun in their eyes, right? When you slow them down with a breaking ball and they see the vertical drop, they go up and down. They go, all right, see enough of those, I'll time it. But then here comes the fastball, and you're like, you don't have much time. The curveball goes up, the timing of the hands, he thinks that's a ball. And then you get a fastball that's almost by. I mean, almost in the glove. And that's the art of pitching and changing speeds.
See what he goes with on 0-2. It's back to a curve. It's a cue shot base hit for Addison Barger, who is 3 for 3. Big swing and then a little spinner down there with some English to lead off this 6th.
Now, in fairness, if a guy hits a ball almost in the dugout off a fastball, you go back to the fastball. That curveball, seeing it for the 3rd time, is what we were talking about.
How about this? Aaron Boone is going to take Cam Schlittler out of this game. or at least chat with him. All right. So it wasn't going to take him out at just 71 pitches after throwing 107 last week. Look, it has not been what it was last week, just overwhelmingly dominant. But you know what else it hasn't been? It hasn't been a 16 ERA like the rest of the starting staff has had in this series. And so that's forced the bullpen to get involved way more than you'd like him to be. Ride it. It ain't been his fault. Yankees offense trying to wake up again. Schlittler's held this high-powered Blue Jays lineup to 2 through 5+. A little bit low on Kirk. So Duvall is the man warming in the Yankees pen.
You know, the Blue Jays keep putting stress, though, on Cam by getting the leadoff runner on in the 3rd straight inning now. And that's a rally in the postseason. It's not in the regular season. And I've always said, when people ask me, what's the biggest difference? Well, the crowd in the postseason gets up for everything. They don't in the regular season. And any runner that gets on is a huge rally. And it's not in the regular season. So the attention to detail is so much different.
Chopper, foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Kirk. As we've talked about, if you've been watching this series on paper, this was the biggest advantage for the Yankees, the starting pitching. But Fried gives up 7. Rodon gives up 6. The bullpen saves the day, but has to cover 6 2/3 yesterday, not giving up any runs. And look, all for having a guy ready to go at any moment, be ahead of the rally. Just glad to see that he wasn't ready to pull the trigger quite yet after that leadoff infield hit. 1-2 to Kirk. Fly to right field. Into the glove of Aaron Judge for the first out of the 6th.
When a manager is, unless it's scripted, which very few things could be scripted in this game because of what's going on. You're looking at swings that they're having off your pitcher that you haven't seen before. And if the swings look good and they're just missing pitches, you start wondering how effective that fastball is going to be later in the game. That was simply a message delivered that something he didn't like with that last batter. In other words, keep trusting your fastball. Throw your breaking ball, but trust it. Something along those lines. Because after a guy fouls a ball in the dugout, you don't come back with a breaking ball.
Dalton Varsho is 0 for 2 today, but 7 out of 14 in this series. Took a first pitch curve and then a fastball chopped to first. A tag play at second. They've got Barger hung up. Goldschmidt running him down. Here comes McMahon. Flip it on to first. He just got the tag. Chisholm on the hip of Barger, who did all he could to play the game of pickle. But the Yankees get him. And Schlittler's through 6. He's held him to 2. Can the offense hold up its end of the bargain? Our full day of Divisional Series baseball caps off later tonight as the Dodgers look for the sweep with Yamamoto taking on the Phillies. Tigers force Game 5 against the Mariners. That'll be Friday at 3:30 Eastern. We'll be at 7:30 Eastern if the Yankees can force it. Otherwise, Tigers-Mariners moves into that slot on Fox. Well, you figure when Lauer came in, he was going to go multiple innings. It is a bit surprising, though, to see it right here with a 2-1 lead. And staying in the game, going to face the top of the order here. He's got the left-handed batting Trent Grisham right here. But Aaron Judge, of course, looms on deck.
Yeah, this is his last hitter.
Outside.
And they do have the righty Ariel Rodriguez warming. Grisham 3 for 5 with a walk against Lauer. These guys are actually traded for one another years ago. Lauer getting traded from the Padres to the Brewers. Grisham go over to San Diego. Now they face off 6 years later in the postseason. One-run game in the 6th. Grisham leads off. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
If you're wondering what Lauer's doing when he goes back behind to his belt, he's calling the pitch. He's got that remote to signal to the catcher what I'm throwing. There it is.
Guys, it's the other way. You got the catcher who sends the signs.
See, I think it should always be this way, but a young pitcher maybe not so much.
30-year-old in his 7th year, controlling things, firing a payoff, and striking out Grisham like a house by the side of the road. Takes strike 3 for the first out of the 6. John Schneider not budging yet. John Schneider's going to let Eric Lauer face Aaron Judge.
Yeah, if there had been a runner on, you know exactly that would have changed, and now he's just playing the batter to batter game.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you consider, even though he's the time run, putting him on? Heck, I think maybe because he's the time run, you consider putting him on. The way he's going and with who he is. And then this gets you another lefty-lefty matchup with Cody Bellinger coming up. Pete Walker's out for a visit. We get a quick word from Strauss.
From the fields we farm to the fields we play, work wins the game. Strauss and Major League Baseball. Gear for any season.
There's something psychological that guys can handle when they're batting behind a guy who gets intentionally walked to face them, and there's guys that perform extra better when that happens. It's a matter of the personality and how they take that.
Well, I was telling you earlier that Cody said he feels like he's a different guy from the last time he was playing in the postseason 3 years ago with the Dodgers, and the biggest difference is the mental side of it. It's so much simpler, not nearly as many thoughts up there. It's reflected in his swing and his approach. So simple. Tie and run aboard. Go ahead run at the plate, and a strike on Bellinger, who has faced Eric Lauer quite a bit through the years when those guys were in the same division in the West. And remember Bellinger describing his fastball as freaking weird.
Yeah. Sneaky fast. It's an extra carry.
On an 0-1, Bellinger cracks one to left center field. That is Lucas to make the catch. 2 out. Judge back to first.
That's why I've always tried to explain everything can't be measured by velocity, and that is going to be the last one. So we'll carry that conversation afterwards.
How about Eric Lauer? How about how this bullpen game is going for the Blue Jays? John Schneider pushing all the right buttons so far. After 1 2/3 scoreless innings from Dominguez, Lauer has given up the base runner here, but no damage yet. Our game summary is sponsored by Chipotle. Game 4 between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. After the Yankees come back to force this game, the Blue Jays get right off of the deck, score in the first inning. After the Yankees tied it, Jays retook the lead in the 5th. They are a few innings away from their first trip to the championship series since 2016. It's Yariel Rodriguez, who retired all 4 men that he faced last night. On for Stanton. Tie and run at first in the form of Judge.
I tell you, I know they want Stanton to hit, but high leg kick, slow delivery, Judge at first, down by 1. Gutsy call to try to get into scoring position with a stolen base.
Has not been a caught stealing with Rodriguez on the mound this year. 2-0 on Stanton.
And that's when the numbers get really, I don't understand why they get so nervous about things like that in the postseason, where in the regular season you would just absolutely take off.
We've seen 1/3 of the stolen base attempts in the postseason that we see during the regular season. Ball 3 on Stanton. At this point, though, we're trying to give him 90 feet. Green light if he wants it. Takes a strike.
Bullpen games can be so frustrating on the other team, especially if everybody kind of does their job, but it only takes one guy to not have his best stuff or best moment that can throw everything off.
There goes Judge on a 3-1. It's ball 4. Judge is into second either way. And so the tying run is in scoring position on a walk for Giancarlo Stanton. He's on as the go-ahead run, and Jazz Chisholm Jr., who gave him the lead last night, comes up to the plate. Oh for 7 against Rodriguez in his career. Strike 1.
Hard to believe, but this is the first at bat with a runner in scoring position for the Yankees tonight. That's how good of a job the bullpen has done. The lone run, of course, a home run. So a chance here with this crowd just waiting to explode.
And as good as the home runs have been lately, the Yankees 11 for their last 19 with runners in scoring position. Chisholm rounds one to second for Ernie Clement. And the Blue Jays are out of the 6th inning jam. They are 9 outs away from their first championship series trip in 9 years. Your voice heard. You can vote now to select the 2025 All-MLB team presented by MGM Rewards. It's your chance to be part of history. Honor this season's top performers. Terms and conditions apply. See MLB.com/AllMLB for details. Into the 7th goes Cam Schlittler. 2-1 Blue Jays in front. They got a run in the first. 3 batters into the game as Guerrero drove in Springer, who had doubled to start the game. And with a pair of singles from the bottom of the order, then a sac fly in the 5th, retook the lead. Anthony Santander fouls off the first pitch from Schlittler. It's been a much different story for Schlittler today. This when you're looking at the strikeouts from the 12 that he had against the Red Sox to only 2 today. It's kind of what you expected. Maybe not this drastic of a swing in one direction. But bottom line, he's in the 7th inning and has given them another very strong effort.
Yeah, he really has. And again, offensively, they're going to have to score at least 2 and more. But he's done exactly what Aaron Boone would love to have had. Not hard decisions, pretty clean game. The hard decisions are being made every inning on the other side, even though they're up 2-1 by John Snyder.
1-2 on Santander. 3 innings left in this game. 3 high leverage relievers left for Schneider. You've got Little from the left side, Jeff Hoffman, Braden Fisher from the right side. You wonder if you can get more out of Yariel Rodriguez, who threw just 7 pitches there. Somehow gets to that. Santander nothing to show for it today, but quarter of the pitches that Schlittler has thrown have come to him. Another 1-2. Santander lays off. Count evens. Clement and Jimenez to follow. Pop up. McMahon is over and stumbling makes the grab. He's been everything for the Yankees tonight. Wow.
I mean, that wasn't 114 feet, but that was full sprint in. And he had to check his environment, making sure and seeing how close he was to the dugout. What an athletic play.
Saw him go into the dugout in Schlittler's last start when Schlittler went out there for the 8th inning. Yeah, it stops a little bit shy. Still, though, Gets dirty.
Yeah, you go from grass to the track there in cleats.
He gave out, huh?
Yeah.
That is okay. He's got the home run that has the Yankees on the board. Now, fun defensive play there for the first out of the 7th. Can they get Ernie Clement out? He's 1 for 2 with a run scored today. 8 for his last 10. Shoots one to right center field. He's got another base hit. This guy's incredible.
Short, compact swings. Notice that the Blue Jays don't have a lot of wild swings, meaning they're just not sitting on their back leg trying to lift the ball and hit it out of to the moon. So that's what it takes when you're facing really good fastball delivery and fastball velocity. That's the only way. That's textbook. You just take what they give you and don't try to pull everything. And that's why you have a team philosophy that works.
9 hits in this series for Ernie Clement. No balls, 1 strike on the 9-hitter Jimenez. It was these guys that got to Schlittler in the 5th. Clement and Jimenez had back-to-back hits, 8 and 9. This has been the story of the Blue Jays this year. Contributions from all over the place. Never really knowing going into a game who it's going to be on that night. Oh, 0-2. The 0-2 pitch.
Aaron Boone's going to have a tough decision with the next batter coming to the plate. And the reason I think it's a tough decision, he's had some really good swings. He led off the game with a double. He laced his last one for the sacrifice. And it'll be interesting to see what he does against Springer, who's looked comfortable against Cam.
So Williams is ready to go. That's a shot up the middle that Chisholm can't field. It was a scorcher, but he should have had it. And instead, 1st and 3rd for the Blue Jays. Instead of an inning-ending double play, the door swings open.
Yeah, this ball took off and I think just really exploded when it hit the ground. This ball hits the end of the grass and has a skip to it that is, it just ate him up.
And that is how Schlittler's night comes to an end. Cam Schlittler's 2nd consecutive start with his team facing elimination goes into the 7th and has more than given them a chance to extend their season again. Defensive play. Ryan McMahon. But then Jazz Chisholm, instead of a double play to end the inning, can't get it cleanly as it skips off the lip of the grass there into center field. And so it'll be up to Devin Williams to try and get out of this jam and keep it 2-1. Williams yesterday went more than an inning for the first time in a Yankees uniform. He's back out there to face George Springer. 1st and 3rd, 1 away. Strike 1 as the bottom falls out of that changeup. Springer scored their 1st run after doubling in the 1st inning, knocked in their 2nd run with a sac fly in the 5th.
You know, it's interesting, the little things that sometimes my brain picks up, but I think that's a different glove that he has today than he did yesterday. Yesterday he had the more traditional yellow colored glove.
Boy, back-to-back changeups, devilish.
There's the glove. Not saying it's the reason, but that's yesterday's glove. Same model, different color.
The 0-2. Springer does well to stay alive on a 3rd consecutive air bender changeup. Clement at 3rd, Jimenez at 1st. Bottom of the Blue Jays order trying to do it again for him. On to the 0-2 to Springer. Taken this time. 4 pitches, all changeups.
Yankees have cooled off the Blue Jays a little bit with runners in scoring position. They were absolutely on fire the first 3 games, 12 for 27. Tonight, 1 for the last 7.
Springer on 1-2, swings and fouls it off, just barely staying alive.
Again, easier said than done. When you're going to hit off of a changeup, you still have to protect against the fastball. You got to wait and think right center. If you try to pull that pitch, you're going to swing over the top. You're going to swing and miss or pull it right to the infield for a possible double play.
Well, Williams would give for one of those here. 1-2 is tapped foul again. Well, 6 pitches, all changes.
There's a guy that used to pitch for this team that now pitches for Detroit that's thrown 62 changeups in a row. Mr. Canely. So I've seen nobody moves up in the box, nobody changes. So if you have success with one pitch, you can just keep going to it.
See if that's what he does here. It is a swing and a miss on a change and a stolen base for Jimenez. So he sticks with it and gets the strikeout. Jimenez gets the first stolen base of this series for either side. And Nathan Lucas comes up with 2 away.
Safe to say this is the at-bat for the Yankees season. And what I mean by that is the guy who's on deck you do not want to face, because one of 2 things is going to happen. That means the bases are loaded or 2 runs are already in. Devin Williams knows that.
Nathan Lucas takes high. You got the superstar Lumen on deck with the 31-year-old at the plate who's given his first shot here after 10 years in the minor leagues. Can he be the latest Blue Jay to deliver in the clutch? On a 1-0 from Devin Williams. Lucas shoots one into center field. He's come through. Clement in to score. Jimenez right behind him, and Nathan Lucas has delivered. The Blue Jays lead 4-1 with a 2-out base hit from Lucas.
Well, the Blue Jays did it, right? They got the big hit with 2 outs. And just as soon as you knew that that at-bat was going to be so huge for the Yankees' chances, not saying they can't come back.
Strike on Guerrero. Nathan Lucas went from Cleveland to Tampa Bay, then Toronto, this close to quitting multiple occasions. His daughter was born a couple years ago. He was still grinding away in the minor leagues. Made it to the majors 2 years ago for a handful of games. Okay, finally I've made it. I'm here. But then he missed almost all of last year with a thumb injury. So at 31, his first real shot. Started the season as their 4th outfielder. Injuries across the table gave him a bigger chance, and he's taken advantage of it. He said it was a dream come true just getting an at-bat in a postseason game the other day in Toronto. Where does this fall? Where does this moment fall in his baseball life? Down the right field line, and foul, strike 2 on Guerrero.
We showed that shot of the 2 talking right there. That they're going over a million scenarios, right? This is they want to lead late, and how are they going to script the lead late in a perfect world? We talked about the options they were given. They're discussing all of them right now.
Still have a couple of their top arms available down there, but do they go for a kill shot? Do they think about Savage or Gausman?
The bottom line is the Yankees have 2 hits, and the Blue Jays have 9. And that's led to the 4 runs.
And if the score doesn't change, ultimately that'll be the story of the series, that the Blue Jays just outplayed the Yankees. Simply out-hit them. And it's been a series of runs, but when you pick it all apart and look in the rear view, this Blue Jays offense, 33 runs in 4 games. Williams to Guerrero with a 2-2.
He's just comfortable. He's seeing it. Even his outs, -1, have been good swings. Can't get a hit every single time.
You're going to look hitter-ish. He has. There goes Lucas on a payoff that Vlad takes low for ball 4. Time for Fox Foresight, powered by Google Cloud. As Addison Barger comes to the plate, give him a 48% chance to get a 4-hit game here.
48%.
That's high and specific. You got the under on that?
Oh, yeah.
We get a quick word from Corona. Now, Devin Williams struck out George Springer, but hit from Lucas. And the walk for Guerrero. You look back to the way their season ended last year. The Judge error that opened the door for the 5-run Dodger comeback here in Game 4. Chisholm's error has opened the door for 2 Blue Jays runs. Growing the lead to 4-1 as Camilo Doval gets ready. Addison Barger trying to really break it open. 3 for 3 tonight.
Two-strike pitches tonight against the Blue Jays. 3 Ks. That is the story of an offensive philosophy that works.
And if they win this game, that'd be, if it stayed there, 10 strikeouts total in the 3 wins in this series.
Yeah.
Two on, 2 out. Williams to Barger with the 1-1 pitch. Nope. High for ball 2. And what the bullpen does has made the difference for the Yankees in this postseason. In the 3 wins, they've not given up a single run. In the 3 losses, 17. 2-1 from Williams. Shot down the line, foul. Jays touching the Yankees bullpen. Can the Yankees figure out the Jays pen in this bullpen game? Running out of time in this game and in their season. Deuce is wild in the 7th. 2-2 pitch.
We got to check on the record for most 3-hit games by players on a team. I mean, everywhere it seems like every time you look up, you get multiple guys that are looking to get their 4th hit.
Ernie Clement feels like he's fallen out of bed with 3 hits already. 2 more of them today. 2 of the 4 runs scored.
See how I did that on air to get Rick to go look us up.
Right. He's hammering away on his keyboard. I mean, 18 runs on 30 hits is pretty darn good too, but 33 runs on 47 hits off the charts. Top hit collecting team in baseball during the regular season. That's been amplified in this division series. They've had the power in addition. Another 3-2 pitch to Addison Barger. Flipped into left field for Cody Bellinger. And we stretch at Yankee Stadium. But the Blue Jays add 2. It's Nathan Lucas. Said he was living his dream getting to play in a postseason game the other day. How about contributing a big hit and putting hot coals on Jazz Chisholm? Well, Sunday on Fox, Dak and the Cowboys taking on the Panthers, or Stafford and the Rams against the Ravens. Check out the regional action as well. Local listings for the game in your area Sunday on Fox. Here in the Bronx, the Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead, trying to withstand this Yankees push to get into the championship series. We know that it's going to take 5 games to decide the other division series. The Tigers, who were down 3-0, which felt like a mountain for them to climb, show up with 9 runs. Like, where in the world did that come from? They forced game 5, and you know who they've got going in the 5th game? Tarek Skubal is going to go for the Tigers, trying to get them back to the championship series. The Mariners that close to making their first trip in a quarter century.
You know what I've learned about this year? Expect the unexpected.
Yeah,
just when you think things are going one way, then you get these twists. But yeah, Skubal going, he's unbelievable. He's must-see TV. If it wasn't such a long flight, we didn't have anything to do, I might just find myself going.
Yeah, it's going to be an off day for us regardless, just whether we're on our way to Toronto or just killing time until the championship series. Let's go. Yeah, let's hop on a flight and go to Seattle. Just a nice hop, skip, and a jump. Hop, skip, and a jump for Nathan Lucas over to right field. From left, as Miles Straw has come in, and John Schneider, in addition to navigating the bullpen game, is strengthening the defense. The Yankees still have a few shots here. Brendan Little comes on to pitch, and the way this is lined up, you don't know if it's going to go to script, but this has had to have been pretty darn close to what you would draw up if you were John Schneider.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we talked about what they did before, and they had a similar game where they went 18 up and 18 down, and that's pretty close to what they almost got, giving up 1 run and only 2 hits.
Goldschmidt, Wells, Volpe against Little, whose first pitch is in the dirt for ball 1.
And again, just to reiterate, on paper this all makes sense, right? Harder to hit, facing a different guy, but every single person that comes in has to be on their game. They have to be, there's no hiccups. You can't say, oh yeah, he started slow. You got to be right out of the gate good.
Inside.
Little misses with his first 2, which is scoreless inning in the first game of this series. Gave up a run yesterday. And now it's Braden Fisher getting loose. Goldschmidt on 2-0. Takes a strike.
This is where the tensions on each side exist. The tensions of Toronto knowing they're 9 outs away from moving on. Obviously for New York, they got to get runners on and get some scoring pretty soon, or their season's over.
Inside.
Ball 3. There have been a few times where it seemed like hope was over for the Yankees, whether that was when it came to the division and then they rallied, took it right down to the last day, whether it seemed like the wild card round was going to end like that, losing the first game to the Red Sox. A leadoff walk for Paul Goldschmidt. Even last night, it was 6-1 Toronto. We asked Aaron Boone today, be honest, what were you thinking at that point? And we'd have to bleep him out, but it was something along the lines of, oh no.
Yeah, he said his heart rate was okay because it's just game management stuff, but it was the situation he found himself in, like not ideal, right? Down 6-1.
But his team rallied. They've shown a lot of fight throughout this year. Leadoff man aboard, Austin Wells swings and misses at that curve from Little. It's been one of the best swing and miss curveballs in the league this year. First time the Yankees have had the leadoff man on since the 4th. Only the 2nd time today. And they have just 2 hits.
I was watching Volpe on the on-deck circle swing 3 weighted bats. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, he's going to feel like a toothpick when he gets up there. Austin Wells takes outside. Ball 2.
3 of them.
Yeah.
3.
Fly ball, deep center field. Varsho back onto the track, just enough room. Wells gives it a ride, but it falls a little bit short. 1 out in the 7th.
Deepest part of the park. Obviously, pulling the ball here is so much easier, but the pitch was out and away and made a great swing.
Pete Walker's out for a visit with Anthony Volpe coming to the plate. Running out of chances to figure it out. He's 0 for 2 with 2 more Ks today. Little was a first-round draft pick for the Chicago Cubs back in 2017. Made it to the majors with the Cubs, and in his debut gave up 3 runs in 1 inning. You're thinking, okay, can't wait to get back out there, make up for that. He wouldn't pitch in another big league game for 2 years. That was with the Blue Jays last year. He was okay, but he was excellent and their most used guy this year. Volpe shows bunt and takes high. A snapshot into where he's at. With them down 3. Ball and a strike on Volpe. 19 home runs during the regular season, 1 of them here in the postseason. On a 1-1 pitch. Take strike 2. That's right where strike 3 called was his first time up. Left him disgruntled with Tony Randazzo.
Yeah, pretty much an unhittable pitch. Next year is going to be there's a assistant coach giving some lessons from the crowd.
Here's how you do it, Anthony. You swing the bat, I believe was the message. The 1-2. He does swing, but he comes up empty, strike 3.
Tremendous breaking ball. This ball starts up to where it looked like it might be a fastball, and that is so much depth to that break.
Yankees' only run in this game came off a Ryan McMahon home run, and Aaron Boone's going to pinch hit for McMahon right here. Instead of the lefty-lefty matchup, it's Ahmed Rosario, who has hit lefties hard. That's been his main role since coming to the Yankees at the deadline.
Well, if they don't get a 2-out rally here, all eyes are going to be on the 8th inning, top of the lineup.
We'll see who that'll be for the Blue Jays. They've got Jeff Hoffman and Braden Fisher both left. And Trey Savage, if they decided to go that route. Kevin Gausman. Now to 0-1, Rosario cracks a line drive, base hit into center field. A pinch hit base hit for Rosario. Yankees get the tying run to the plate in the form of Trent Grisham.
Well, same scenario as the other inning. When the reliever knows who's on deck, it's super important pitch selections, and super important he gets Grisham out, because just like I said in the last inning, facing Guerrero means either bases loaded or run in. Same thing here. You're either going to face Judge with the bases loaded or run or 2 or 3 already in.
Trent Grisham, 34 home runs this year. In the dirt, blocked down by Kirk. Somehow keeps it in the area and keeps the runners put. Little to Grisham. 1-0. In there. 6 different pitchers used by the Blue Jays tonight, trying to bullpen their way to the championship series. Here the Yankees have one comeback left in them. The 1-1 pitch. Grisham sends a high pop fly down the left field line. Jimenez is over. Jimenez is there, makes the catch, and ends the 7th. Well, the wind has played tricks on the Jays and the Yankees both in this series, but Jimenez able to stick with that one. Little the latest to put up a 0 for the Jays. Coming up when the game finishes, stay tuned for the postgame show. KB, Alex, Poppy, Derek on FS1, presented by Strauss. Nathan Lucas, big 2-run single to grow the Blue Jays lead to 4-1. To the 8th inning we go. Camilo Doval, who has emerged as the weapon the Yankees thought they were trading for when they got him with the Giants, but better late than never. Alejandro Kirk leads off and takes a bender for a strike. John, how many brothers and sisters does this guy have?
You know what? There's a lot of things I'm going to forget in life. I will
Most
never,
of what I've told you?
No, I will never forget. He has 24.
Rosario stays in after pinch hitting, plays third. Kirk takes a ball, 1-1. Yeah, looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th for the Yankees. Top of the order is coming up. Judge, Bellinger, Stanton. That's 2, 3, and 4. And it looks like it's going to be Braden Fisher going for the Blue Jays. You figure it'd be Fisher or it'd be Hoffman. Those are the two top leverage right-handed arms they have left. It's not going to be Tommy Nansen. It's not going to be Justin Brule. The wild card in this whole thing is Trey Savage. But we have not seen him. Chopper down the line and a base hit. Rosario's in there instead of McMahon, and Kirk's able to get it by him and cruise into second with a leadoff double. And they can hardly watch as the defense continues to show cracks here. He's not hit particularly hard.
No, but perfect.
Hard not to wonder if McMahon is able to get his glove on that. And the one thing Kirk doesn't do well is run fast. But instead it's a leadoff double. And it's Dalton Varsho at the plate. As you're talking about, do you use your Savage, do you use Gausman? You think about game 5. You also, you're confident you're locking it down here. You'd hate to jeopardize anything as far as game 1 of a potential championship series. Back goes Aaron Judge to the track to put it away. Kirk's going to head for third, and he'll get there with as deep of a fly as that was.
Oh, I thought you were going to say with his tremendous speed.
Nope, wasn't going to say that. That'd be lying. So runner at third and one away, and it seems like, John, anytime the Jays have had a situation like this with a man there to bring in, they've found a way to do it.
Yeah, it's classic how you win in postseason baseball. I mean, I know homers are king. I get it. Homers are always going to be king, but strikeouts are the equalizer. And so you're going to have to hit a lot of home runs if you strike out a lot to win baseball games. And we've seen in regular season you can have a ton of home runs like the Yankees do and swing and miss a lot and it come up short. So contact for me at the right time, and that's what every manager will preach. Contact at the right time helps win baseball games.
Jays are hoping helps win championships. Miles Straw, his first at bat of the game, came on for his defense. Waves and misses, and it's 0-2. A minefield of a managerial night. John Schneider has pushed all the right buttons for the Jays. Straw flips his own base hit into right field, and the guy that he brings in for the defense knocks in a run to make it 5-1.
I want you to see how classic this is. This is not a swing you're going to teach like, oh, this is how you hit a baseball. This is a swing of how you put a ball in play. He just is basically finding the ball, hoping the result pays off better than obviously a swing and miss. He loops it over the infield that is drawn in, and he gets rewarded for a bullet in the scorebook. And that is how you do exactly what we've been talking about the Blue Jays have done.
5-1 Toronto. So the guy the Yankees bring in for offense doesn't make the play on defense. The guy the Jays bring in for defense contributes with the offense. Clement gets hit by 96. Everybody's saying calm down, and you can understand why you get hit in the head by 96. You're anything but that. Clement will take his base.
Well, he slide steps and loses complete command, trying to worry about the runner at first. This quick slide step, and look at this slider that hits him on the shoulder, thankfully. This slider just gets away from him and thankfully hits him on the shoulder blade and not the back of the neck or the helmet.
Camilo says, my bad. It's a scary moment there for Ernie Clement. I believe he said no fun. It's a family friendly show. Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner. Some pretty darn good seats. Spike Lee wishes that his view wasn't so good at this one. The Yankees have fallen down 5-1 here in the top of the 8th. David Bednar on to try and keep it right here. The Yankees closer did his job last night and has done his job since coming over from the Pirates after a rough start. Sees that closer role. Misses away to Andres Jimenez. And trying to do something the Yankees have not been able to do over the last few innings. That is figure out the bottom of this Blue Jays lineup. Clement and Jimenez have together reached each of their last 5 times up and scored 3 runs. To short, backhand Volpe goes to second one. Chisholm's throw to first is late. Jimenez flying up that line. Good pick by Goldschmidt to ensure that Schrock can't score.
Think of it this way: you got to fight, and you got 2 fighters going at it, and one's jabbing you, jabbing you, jabbing you, jabbing, and the other one's out looking for the knockout punch. The Jays just jab you. They jab you. They're not swinging to try to knock you out in the first round, and eventually it just wears you out. And that's what they've done all year. And you match what they can do in the bullpen if they had the health in their starting rotation. Their starting rotation was really, really good for a while until some guys got hurt.
Springer with 2 away.
Whereas the Yankees, through in the year in a fight, they're looking for the knockout punch. They're trying to. They're just gonna. It's gonna be quick and over.
And when you get it, good for you.
Yeah.
But there's some swinging and missing.
That's exactly right.
Figuratively and literally. And look, credit to the Yankees for being more well-rounded this year.
Absolutely.
In this series. You mentioned how good they were with runners in scoring position. But again, just makes you say, huh, you see a night like this after the offense explodes the last 2 days, 1 run on 3 hits, and those old defensive demons show up again. Chisholm's there, open the door for 2. The Yankees have had chances the last 2 innings, but have stranded 2 in both of them. Hoffman has joined Fisher. 2 big arms they have left down there. Here's a 2-1 from Bednar. Springer fouls it into the glove, 2-2. The 2-2. Runner goes from first. A swing and a miss. That's strike 3. Jays another massive insurance run. It's Miles Straw to knock it in. 5-1 with Judge coming up for the Yankees. It's Aaron Judge to lead off the bottom of the 8th for the Yankees in a 5-1 game. They're down to their last 6 outs. So many times they've kept hopes alive over the last month. Judge breathed life into him last night with his game-tying home run, but here the deficit 4 as Braden Fisher comes on with that perfect record during the regular season. 25-year-old rookie's first pitch is outside.
75% breaking balls, and if the New York Yankees are going to win, they got to find a way to get Aaron Judge 2 at-bats. This one and 1 more. So that means a deeper 5-6 at-bat in this inning, and then the opportunity to come back around. Now, sitting at home and go, what if they hit 6 solo home runs? Well, that's one way too.
You idiot.
Judge a single and a walk today. 3 curves. That's not close. And Tony Randazzo gives him a strike. Fisher pitched yesterday, gave up a run. On a 2-1 offering, Judge fouls it back, and it's 2-2. After a regular season, that's probably going to net him a 3rd MVP. He has answered every question there was left to answer in the postseason. He was hitting .500. It still wasn't enough because he didn't have that big moment. But he got that 2 last night, that signature October moment. Now, where that stands in Yankee lore will depend on if they can complete a comeback here. He swings and misses for the first out of the 8th. The Judge has certainly answered his own October questions, but for that swing to really live on in Yankee legend, that requires them to keep on playing. 5-1 Toronto, 1 gone in the 8th. Bellinger takes a strike, and we check in with Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, when we look at the entirety of the Yankees season, and this game is not over, you remember they had to pivot from Juan Soto, and they did that successfully. Max Fried, Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, even Devin Williams to an extent. And yet, even with the team that Aaron Boone proclaimed was one of his favorites, a team that they thought could reach the World Series, they're falling short. And now they face another series of questions. Bellinger, Grisham, Goldschmidt, all potential free agents. They're going to have to look at their bullpen. They'll have good starting pitching next season. Cole and Schmidt will possibly come back from Tommy John surgery. They'll have Cam Schlittler. But it's another offseason of questions, another offseason of frustration if they indeed go on to lose this game.
Of course, they're going to be right there. 27 years in a row, winning seasons. They're always in the conversation. But to push that boulder up the mountain time after time after time, and to have it come tumbling back down at the end as Stanton rips a base hit into center field. It's been a while. It's been 16 years now, and for this franchise that has all the hardware, that's an eternity. Yankees have won 1/3 of the American League pennants all time. Nearly 1/4 of the World Series ever played. They've won, but not since 2009.
Well, I know all too well, when you keep going to the postseason, the narrative grows and it works against you. If they weren't to make the playoffs, you get a pass a little bit. You don't talk about them, but because they keep getting there, it's harder, and it's hard to win. And so when they haven't won at the level that it's been expected, that critique grows. And look, I lived it. 14 straight years of winning a division title, 1 World Series. There's no doubt in my mind we should have had more, but we didn't. And when you get late into the seasons of postseason, it gets harder and harder when you lose. When you lose early, they forget about you late. It's the late losing that reminds people, oh, you haven't done this or you haven't done that. And so that's what the Yankees kind of facing with all that's out there.
1-2 to Jazz Chisholm is a curve that just misses inside. Chisholm after the go-ahead home run yesterday is 0 for 3 today. That'll reach the seat, stays alive.
The Dodgers were dealing with it, and they got that taken care of by winning championships. They had a 31-year drought. You look at the longest World Series title droughts now by the Yankees, and they're approaching. I mean, other teams have never even thought about it. And so you win a lot, expected a lot, big market. That's what comes with the territory.
And if this ends here, only longer drought before they won their first one. Chisholm down the right field line. Lucas over and out of room. There's Ernie Clement crashing into the sidewall.
Between his at bat and that wall.
Ragdoll. Old hockey player in Rochester, New York. And apparently a incredible golfer too.
Yeah, scratch golfer.
Yep. Another 2-2 coming to Chisholm. The Yankees can chip away here with 2 gone. Down to their last 4 outs. He's saying, show me something. Another 2-2 pitch. It goes full. Paul Goldschmidt on deck. The rookie Fisher acquired in a trade for Kevin Biggio from the Dodgers. Fires the payoff and misses high. The Yankees with something bubbling here. 2 aboard with 2 gone in the 8th. And it's going to be Ben Rice to pinch hit for Paul Goldschmidt. John Schneider comes out of the dugout. He'll counter. There is no other leverage left-handed option down there, so he's going to go to his closer, Jeff Hoffman, with Ben Rice introduced as the pinch hitter in a 5-1 game. Runners at first and second, 2 gone in the 8th. Yankees holding on to hope here, down 5-1. Ben Rice sent up as the pinch hitter, and Jeff Hoffman comes on for John Schneider. Closer for the Blue Jays this year. His biggest issue was home runs. He gave up more than any other pitcher in the American League out of the pen. Rice hit one of them. It was a game winner. Hoffman well rested, pitching for the first time since his scoreless 9th inning in Game 1 Saturday. Throw to second. Stanton's in there safely.
Oh, that would have been awful.
That would have emptied the seats. On a 1-0 pitch, Ben Rice swings and misses at that splitter. And yes, Jeff Hoffman has a splitter as well. It's given the Yankees all kinds of fits all series long. Hoffman is the 8th pitcher in this bullpen game for the Jays. Fluharty gave up a run in the 2nd. That's it. In the dirt, ball 2. Wells is on deck. And as the season has gone on for Hoffman, the problem has gone from giving up too many home runs to issuing too many walks as he falls behind here. Ball 3.
Closing out a game, closing out a series. It's never easy if you haven't done it. These are all things that go through their minds when they're on the brink. It's not like they're on the opposite side where if they don't win this game, they lose. They're trying to win this game to move on.
On a 3-1 pitch, Rice swings and misses. Power against power, and 97 whistles by. Runners get a head start. Stanton from second, Chisholm from first. The payoff. Rice fouls it off. Ben Rice, one of the big surprises for the Yankees this year. 26 home runs in his first full year. 2 on, 2 out. Another 3-2 pitch. Rice takes ball 4. The bases are loaded, and the tying run is coming up. They just refuse to roll over.
Splitter, but never close enough to entice a full swing.
Austin Wells to the plate with a chance to tie it with one swing. Drives the ball in the air to left field, but Miles Straw will settle under it, and the Blue Jays are out of the bases loaded jam. Sigh of relief for John Schneider and the Jays. The Yankees have stranded 7 over the last 3 innings. Top of the 9th inning, David Bednar stays on to pitch for the Yankees. We've had opportunities the last few innings to cut into this deficit. They leave 2 in the 6th and the 7th, and the bases loaded in the 8th. Lucas, Guerrero, and Barger coming up here. And on the first pitch, he drives it to the right field corner, and it's a base hit. Lucas heads for second. Judge's throw not in time. Nathan Lucas with his second hit of the ball game.
To get to this pitch, look how flat the bat is. You cannot have a big wind-up swing for the moon's approach. It's just flat and to the ball.
Part of a 12-hit night for the Jays. And now Vlad Jr., who has hit a walk, takes a curve for a strike. But it's the Jays offense doing all this, remember, without Bo Bichette, who is their probably best all-around hitter. Although Vlad has made himself look like as good of an all-around hitter as there is in baseball. Vlad very streaky though during the regular year. Bo Bichette leading the majors in hits most of the way. He's going to finish second in the American League in hits by just 3 behind Bobby Witt, even though he missed the last 3 weeks of the season. There's a chance they'll have Bichette if they get to the championship series, which will begin on Sunday.
Boy, he went on a tear in the second half. 370. Helps when the 2 hottest hitters are on the same team in the second half. Springer and Bichette.
1-2 pitch. Bednar to Guerrero. Chop left side. Rosario's got it. They'll look Lucas back to the bag and get Guerrero. And how about with the pitching? Max Scherzer really struggled down the stretch. Did not make the postseason roster. Chris Bassett was a question. He's coming off of a back injury. Hasn't pitched since mid-September, but was really good prior to the injury, putting him on the shelf. Do they carry him for a 7-game series? You'd love to have another starting pitching option in there.
Well, for sure they're going to add 1, if not 2. And for this series, you understood why it made sense to only have the 3 starters and the rest relievers.
being a 5-game series that they're trying to turn into a 4-gamer. Barger, 3 hits. And we got the info for you. And when I say we, I mean Rick. 6 3-hit games in this series for the Blue Jays. That is the most the Jays have had in a postseason series since the '93 World Series, when they had 7 3-hit performances.
But
they've done this in 4 games.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
there's more games than well, whatever team wins this series, I should say it another way. If this series doesn't go 5, they are glad what's going on in the other series.
Because that one is
going 5 and using one of the best pitchers in baseball if they're able to continue to win.
1-2 to Barger is taken low. You talk about the snowballing pressure on the Yankees. Maybe somewhat of a similar deal from a different angle for the Mariners.
Yeah.
Have never been to the World Series, haven't been to the Championship Series since 2001. That close, had a 3-0 lead today, disappear, and now they got to go back home and face Skubal. Wave and a miss from Barger for out number 2.
Yeah, they've had success against him, though. Somehow, some way, they've been able to put a high ERA on him, and 2 solo home runs the last time they faced him.
Blue Jays 3 outs away from heading back to Toronto and sitting back and enjoying that game with the rest of us. And Toronto will get ready to throw a Championship Series party. Sunday night, Game 1. Strike on Kirk. Kenny?
Joe, the thing that impresses me most about the Blue Jays is that for the past few years, they performed below their talent level. They were not the sum of their parts. This year, they exceeded the sum of their parts. They didn't have a great offseason, as it turned out. Scherzer and Jimenez and Santander all were hurt. Jeff Hoffman was solid for most of it, but up and down at times. And yet they had a really good deadline. Shane Bieber, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Louis Varland, and all these role players coalesced. They all came together, and their stars performed, and here they are on the verge of the ALCS.
On the verge of last to first to the Championship Series.
And no small thing, home field advantage.
No, not with the way that home field advantage works, right? That is someplace. The Rogers Center. Yeah, chances are temperature's going to drop enough where the roof will be closed. Beautiful having it open, but loud when it's closed. I mean, loud when it's open too, but just extra loud. One ball and 2 strikes on Kirk. Eight, 9, and 1 due up for the Yankees. In a dream scenario, you get the first 3 guys on, and you have Judge come up as the tying run. Nobody warming in the Jays pen. It's going to be Jeff Hoffman. Here's a 2-2. And a swing and a miss for strike 3. Job well done, David Bednar, to keep the Jays right there. Last breath for the Yanks. Jeff Hoffman's trying to get the last 4 outs of this game and of this series. Blue Jays 5 runs on 12 hits. Yankees 1 run on 4 hits. Ernie Clement slides over to third base with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa into the game at second, shoring up that defense a little bit more. Behind Hoffman, and it's going to be a pinch hitter instead of Anthony Volpe, who at this point looks like he is ending his season in the very worst way. If the Yankees can't rally here and get him another game, he's going to finish his season with strikeouts in 14 of his last 19 at-bats. Jason Dominguez, the Martian, former top prospect, getting his first at-bat of the series. First at-bat of the series, first of the postseason for Dominguez, who had .257 this year and homered 10 times. Rosario in the top of the order and Grisham to follow here. Hoffman with a fastball that's fouled back.
That's the one part that changes in this game. Like typically when you're down, you got to see if the pitcher can work himself into trouble, but right away swinging at the first pitch, it's a different philosophy.
1 ball, 1 strike. Hoffman, the 8th pitcher of this game for the Blue Jays. And just a roll call for who's done the work in this bullpen game. Varland to Fluharty to Dominguez to Lauer to Rodriguez to Little to Fisher to Hoffman. And it would be fitting that a team that has defined that word this year has the whole team get involved in game 4. That's up against the wall, and a pinch hit double for Jason Dominguez to open the 9th. Fluharty, the only guy to get touched up for a run. The only run for the Yankees in this game came on Ryan McMahon's solo home run back in the 3rd. Chance after chance for the Yankees, though. 7 stranded the last 3 innings. Ahmed Rosario, a pinch hit single, up there for the 2nd time now. Judge is looming a few batters away. 1-0 pitch. Fly to left center field. No big deal for Miles Straw. And he's got it for the first out of the 9th. Grisham had his best game of the postseason yesterday. Doubled, walked, scored a couple runs, but 0 for 4 today. And it overall has been a disappointing postseason for Grisham after the huge regular season that he had. Career year with 34 home runs. In the playoffs, though, 4 for 28. No home runs.
Yeah, when you look at his numbers and we talk about the outfield and how unbelievably successful the outfield for the Yankees was on the year, nobody came close. Total homers, average.
A Yankees team that had scored 16 runs over the last 12 innings coming into this game 4. There's 1 tonight. Ball 2 on Grisham. Judge is on deck. On the ground right side, Guerrero with a backhand shovels it off to Hoffman, who's there for the 2nd out.
What a great play. Well, why does Aaron always find himself in a situation where he can extend the game, obviously?
Judge has answered every question. All the individual questions answered. The one thing he's still hunting is that first ring. Swings and misses, strike 1. This Blue Jays team that finished in last place in the division last year won the division for the first time in a decade this year, although down the stretch that was on thin ice. The Yankees kept on coming. And it was the same story in this division series. The Yankees kept on coming, winning game 3, shifting some of the pressure over to the Blue Jays. But as they did in the regular season, winning their last 4 games, they punch back. The 4-game winning streak to win the division, 4-run lead with 2 gone in the 9th inning. Game 4, the DS. The 1-2 pitch to Judge. Cranked on the line to left field and off the wall. Aaron Judge bruises another baseball, knocks in another run. 5-2 and a series for the books here for Judge. My goodness. 114 right there.
Yeah, this ball left up in the zone, spinning right there. Top spin, the only thing keeping it from going out.
Judge 13 for 26 in this division series. Bellinger grounds one, foul. If Bellinger reaches, they get Stanton up as the tying run. And it's hard as a Yankees fan not to think right back to these last few innings now. Had they gotten just one here or there. Bellinger hitless today. No one from Hoffman. Swing and a miss, and again the Yankees down to their last strike. One and two. If they can get Stanton up there. Stanton 3 for 7 against Hoffman. That includes a home run. 5-2. 2 gone in the 9th. Jeff Hoffman trying to finish the job. His 1-2 pitch. There it is. The Toronto Blue Jays have punched their ticket to the championship series. Going through the New York Yankees in 4 games, and again withstanding the Yankees' best punch. The Yankees battle back in game 3, force this game 4, but the Blue Jays get right back. And for the first time in 9 years, they'll play in the ALCS.
They sure had a team effort and earned it. They statistically did all the things you had to do. And once again, they scored 5 runs, which is a magic number for them for success.
And again, we can slice and dice this any way we want, but ultimately, yeah, 5 runs in this game, 34 over the 4 games. They just, big picture, bludgeon the Yankees.
Yeah. Splitter to end it, fitting. That was the pitch that gave the Yankees so much trouble.
8 pitchers combined to hold the Yankees to just 2 runs in this clinching game 4. More and more people getting to know about these Toronto Blue Jays and their steady hand, salt of the earth manager, John Schneider. Nothing normal about this guy right here, Vlad Jr. In the front office, the guys that had a lot of pressure on him with the postseason failures in recent years. As much the moves they didn't make as the ones they did, the bounce backs that they got from guys like Kirk and Bichette and Springer. And these Jays are headed to the championship series. As the field dwindles with teams moving on, nobody looks better than the Jays.
Yeah, they're going to get better with their roster if these additions, can come through. and the starting pitching can continue to do what they're doing, they're going to be a tough out.
And by not having to play Game 5, by not chasing things with Gausman or Savage in this series, they'll have Gausman and Savage lined up for games 1 and 2 against a team that had to play 5.
Yeah.
Down to Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. George, you've played on some great teams. This one is going to the American League Championship Series. What makes this group so special?
It's hard to describe. I mean, these guys don't quit. This team never quits. Day in and day out, you fight. It's such a special group, and I'm so proud of everybody.
You had a long embrace with manager John Schneider. What has he meant to this group?
Oh, it means everything. You know, he takes a lot of heat. You know, he does a lot of good stuff for us, and you know, he fights for us every single day. So I couldn't be happier for him.
George, if I said to you, hey, tell me why the Blue Jays can win the World Series, what would you say?
It's a brotherhood. You know, there's obviously still a lot of work to be done, and we'll cross that bridge, you know, once we get to it. But at this point, man, it's just such a good locker room. I love it.
George, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, as the Blue Jays beat the Yankees in 4 in the American League East Championship, really. Of these teams tie in the regular season, 94 wins apiece. The Jays proved to be the best of the bunch with a 5-2 win to finish things off. And now we get you to KB and the boys in studio for more postseason coverage.